Hello, this is Travis D, who recently came out with a new lesson to teach some of you guys that kind of want to learn to compose music. Today we'll be covering Music Composition 102, utilizing chord progression to compose music, basically. Right now I'm going to cover 5 different chord progressions that I've actually personally developed myself on my own self-study. Now, I've not found any websites that kind of specify type of chord progressions that could be used for your music, your development of your musical prowess. Now, the truth is that I probably spent the last 10 months finally understanding, oh wow, there's actually an underlying method to composing music. I think there are relatively quite a few musicians that just go by ear without truly understanding the basic knowledge behind the chord progression. I mean, there is some musicians that I know online that have come up with relatively really good stuff. It sounds really complex. It's moving. There's emotion to it, and there's definitely a lot of the way it sounds pretty complex. But the underlying thing you need to know is that a lot of music that you hear, whether it's on the radio or in movies or films, such as film scores and game scores, rock, rap, R&B, there's an underlying chord progression that typically most musicians use. What actually makes an effective piece, for the most part, personally in my opinion, is that you can't really hear the chord progression, but it's still there. I think when I first started composing music, I just went by ear, just try to come with different chords, what sounded good. But after a while, they got really boring, and I felt that I wasn't progressing enough. I felt that, well, I have all this skill level here, but I don't understand, why does it sound good? What makes pieces sound emotional? What makes pieces sound moody? What makes pieces sound sad and things like that? Because I kind of wanted to learn how to improv on the fly, get some things across, get some ideas across, and just get it done with. Right now, I'll write the chord progressions that we'll be covering today in a word pad, so you can kind of understand exactly what I'll be covering today. This should be a pretty short lesson because it's just going to be a really simple idea for you musical enthusiasts or beginning composers, for you to actually develop your own skill. In fact, I would like to see a few of you kind of just take what you learned here, develop some criticism, some comments, some videos that you want to share under my as a link, and show me what you guys come up with, because I'm personally kind of looking for some other ideas, some other mentors, some other people that, oh my god, look, I found a chord progression, hey, why don't you check this one out? Because I personally know that there's more than 5. There are a lot more than 5, I know, but the thing is, I want to cover the 5 basic ones that I use pretty effectively, the ones that I use the most, and the ones that I feel that I have the most moving ability to produce really pop hits, rock hits, etc. like that. Because after doing some self-study, a lot of these kind of incorporated. And most of my songs that I've covered have already incorporated these chord progressions. So, let's see, I'll make this bigger. We'll be covering the majestic chord progression. The second one would be the gothic chord progression. The third one would be the heartbreaker chord progression. Or actually, we'll name that Heartbreaker 1 chord progression. And then the fourth one would be Heartbreaker 2 chord progression. Third one would be Heartbreaker 3 chord progression. Now, to simplify things, I will actually transcribe the scales that I've used and show you how I actually accomplish that. First of all, is that these often come in a set of 4, or they actually come in a set of, let's see, they come in a pair of 4s or whatever. There's actually 4 distinct underlying intervals that actually cover what makes a good chord progression. Because after a while, I think you'll get the hang of it once I show you exactly what I mean. It's just there's 4 different keys that you use to come up with a chord progression. It just repeats over and over and over and over again. Okay, the first one would be the majestic chord progression. Typically, what I'll do is I'll just show you online. I've actually downloaded this Flash keyboard that can show you exactly what the chord progression I'm going to be showing you. Now, this could be really effective for film scores. If you ever come with any type of piece and you want to work towards games or films, the underlying chord progression would be the chord progression that I'll tell you about, which would be actually, let's say you're using a D minor scale chord, okay? What I'll show you is that I'll use Finale to kind of transcribe it into a more, because when I compose music, I get so used to the type of chord progressions and the keys that I've used that it might make it a little bit difficult for you guys to kind of pick up on it. Because I primarily wanted to try to stick with white keys just to show you what the chord progression is. But anyways, I'll show you what the underlying chord progression. It is D, B, F, C, D, B flat, F, C. So that repeats over and over. If I had to transcribe this with white keys, the underlying chord progression would likely be, so we have a D. It's most likely a D minor scale. So what we have to do is actually transcribe that. Let's see. I believe that would be A, F, C, G, A, F, C, G. So if you notice that it sounds pretty moody, it sounds pretty dark. So this is typically, I know for sure, since it's all white keys, it's either C major scale or it's minor scale or A minor scale, which is likely A minor. Sorry. So you go with the 1 chord, 1, and then it goes to the 6th, and then it goes to the 3rd, and then the 7th. So I'll write that down for you guys. For the majestic chord progression, it's in minor. Number 1, it's in minor. Number 2, it follows 1, 6, 3, and 7. So that is the chord progression you all need to remember when it comes to this majestic chord progression. Is that in order to score like this, you go A, F, C, G, and it's over and over and over again, and that's the underlying chord progression that you guys need to just follow over and over again, and that's majestic chord progression, which is really effective. If you take a look at one of my pieces, the Majestic, that was one of my improvs that used the chord progression. I can actually show you an idea of what it kind of sounds like. And see, I've gotten so good at just improving that I've almost just used my left hand to kind of carry the chord progression. The right kind of just carried the glitzes and stuff like that. So and it just repeats over and over and over again. Once again, that's in the minor chord, and the chord progression that you use. Basically, the 1, 6, 3, 7 is if you take the A minor scale and you actually totally just look at the intervals that you're using. Number 1, if A was 1, the root chord, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, G is 7, and A is 8. So if you look at this, the 1 would be A, the 6 would be F, and then the 3 would be C, and the 7 would be G. But typically what I do is actually I go down. So what I could consider is this 6 down and 3 up and 7 down. Just so you can kind of figure it out. It starts at A, and then you go down to the 6th, and then up to the 3rd, and then down to the 7th. Okay, over and over again. So the Gothic chord progression is the next step. This is something that a friend of mine, Bruneville, often uses this chord progression. It's in melodic minor, and this is one of my favorite chord progressions because although it is in minor key, it uses a major scale in one of the chord progressions, in one of the root chord, or in one of the chord that you use. So let's see. It starts with A. If you just take A, C, E and play them together, A, C, E, and then you go down to F, A, C, play that, and then G, B, D, play that, and then E, and here's the most interesting part that gives you that kind of carries it, is this is actually this A minor, but it's actually a major scale. So, and then the B. I've actually want to go back to one thing I do have to note about this is that I probably should tell you exactly what chord progressions to use, because for the majestic minor key, it actually is written in A, so 1 minor, and then this would be, it goes down to F major, because you know that chords are considered of triads, which are actually the 1, 3, 5. I think they're one of the most important notes in any type of music. But with the right hand, when it comes to composing, if you actually play, for instance, an A, let's take the root chord A, C, and E, and you know that the tonic note is A, but the C and E would definitely sound really good with this piece because they're one of the most important notes, I believe, in the triad. So when you play the A on down here, you can play A up here, the C, or the E, if that kind of makes sense. I'll kind of show it right here, is that, let me bring this up. You can play the A down here, but you can play the A, C, and E in any of those notes. When you actually kind of, I mean, you can go through these other notes. For instance, you can go A, and just kind of glitz it up. But those 3 notes, you kind of want to emphasize those. They're like the accents that you kind of want to emphasize in those keys. So if we go back here, you know that this is consists of the A minor scale is 1 minor, 6 major, 3 major, and 7 major. And what happens here is this is composed of, I'll actually just write it down, A, C, and E. So 1 is A, C, E. That's the triad that you want to use for the first chord progression. The reason why I do this is because then you kind of know what you can base the right hand on. Because if you play this, you know, if you play A, C, and E, and you put a B in there, it kind of sounds a little strained. There's some dissonance there. But if you play A, C, E, there's definitely a lot more beauty to it because there's no dissonance. It's something that I always emphasize, is that if you want to create beautiful music, you kind of have to play music, chords that work together, simulate together, things like that. So the 6th chord, or the 6th chord progression, would be F, 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 A, C. So A, C, E is a minor chord. Look, minor. And then 6 is F, A, C, major chord. And then 3 is actually a major chord too. So C, E, G, major chord. And then the major chord that goes down to G, that's also major. So that's G, B, D. And that's the 7th scale. I hope I'm kind of getting this across. What you typically want to do is the 1, 6, 3, and 7 represents the interval on the scale that you're using, or the interval that you're using out of an 8-octave scale. And the minor represents the chord, the triad that you're playing, whether it's major, minor. So for instance, A, C, E sounds minor. You can just hear it. But if you use a sharp in A, C sharp, C, it sounds major. But you just want to stick minor. That's the only. What I've always want to tell you is that the first chord that you typically use is a minor scale. If you're using this I kind of think I want to consider it. It is in the minor scale and it has a melodic minor to it, but I just want to note that typically the first chord that you start with in the chord progression is minor and the rest are major. So just first minor, the rest major, and that's how you can remember it. So let's start with this Gothic chord progression, as I stated. It starts with one major, or actually it starts with one minor again, one minor triad, and it goes to F major triad, and then it goes to, or actually sorry, it goes to 6 major triad, 6 interval, and then it goes to G, which is the seventh major, and then the tricky one down here is E major. What makes this one tricky is the fact that let's see where that at. That's the fifth note that you'd be playing. And then what happens here is that I stated you already know what the 1 is, and that is the ACE. So you copy that, paste that there, and then the 6 is also the FAC, which is the same. So that goes there, and the 7th major, or the the 7th, which is G, which is this right here, and the 5th, which is the tricky part. You know that in the A minor scale, there's typically no sharps, but if you add that sharp in there, it can definitely create some really Gothic type of melodies, and that's, I think, if you play it in the right hand like this, A. Whoops, I almost missed it though. If you add that A minor or that A flat, you can consider it. It definitely adds a lot of tonality to it. But another way you can call it A flat or G sharp. I actually want to call it G sharp because it fits that triad. So E, G, and then B, which is E, G sharp, B. Remember that G sharp? That's what creates that dissonance, or that, not that dissonance, but that Gothic type of sound to it, that haunting type of music. It's haunting, but definitely very emotional. That can be used in a lot of pieces. So that is the 5. So, and the scale I use is alpha theme for this one. So that's another thing. Cool thing about this scale is that it's often in my alpha theme, which the thing is it doesn't follow the chord progression, but it's definitely in there in some parts. So if you think about a lot of the rock music, one of my favorite artists for rock is actually System of a Down, and Serj Tankian has his own band now, but he, in his recent CD, he actually used this chord progression. Oh, he, but yeah, so good for rock, good for Gothic melodies, good for some haunting melodies. Okay, we'll start with one of the Heartbreaker chord progressions. This can be a little tricky because I got several of them, but they are all relatively the same. Let me see which one I want to cover here. So let's see. We got G. Which is the most important one that I know here? I think the most important is actually A, or C, A, F, G, C, A, F, G. This isn't a major scale. It uses the C. See, the thing is, I noticed that since these both sound minor, we can also call this majestic chord progression minor. Since we know, so in Gothic chord progression minor, and this Heartbreaker one's in major. Pretty sure, I believe. But let's see. We got. So if it's in major, we always stick with 1. But the trick here, if it's in major, then you know the first note, which is C, has to be a major. So we go that 1 major, and it goes to 6 major or 6 minor. That's a trick. 6 minor, and then it goes to F, or which is let's see, that is the 6th, or actually not since 6, A, 6. The 4th, which is actually major, and then the 5th, which is major. So the trick between the minor scales or the minor chord progression and the major is that if you want a major chord progression, it's always the first, only major, the only minor scale happens to be the second chord in the chord progression, and the minor scale, the only minor scale is actually the first. So minor 1, major 2. That's kind of how I remember it, and then it goes to 5 major. So let's take a look here at this. What we covered was right here, C, A, F. I kind of call it Heartbreaker just because it's kind of based on a Heart and Soul one. I can actually play that later, but it's actually based on that. So you got C, E, G, A, C, E, F, A, C, and then G, B, D. That's how I cover it. So let's go back here. How can we say this? So you go 1, C, E, G, 6, A, C, E, 4, F, A, C, and then G, which is 5, G, B, D. That's it. So you got C, A, F, G. This is actually a duet for most people, but the cool thing is that I can play both, so. Whoops. That's it. That's why it's Heartbreaker, because it's kind of heart and soul. So I can just put Heartbreaker. Has a lot in there. And that's a cool chord progression that a lot of people probably didn't know that, oh, there is a chord progression in that. The thing is that you have to realize that when you have a piano teacher, they typically do not teach you the underlying reason on how to compose music. Well, I'm here to show you how to compose music and how to create your own music, how to how to use software, rather than a lot of these folks that when you're actually starting out, all they want to do is teach you these books. Well, learn some scales, learn what these notes are, basically learn these notes, learn these scales, learn some sheet music, and that's pretty much all I did for 9 years without having a wink of an idea how to compose music. This is why I think self-study kind of progressed me, because the thing is, if you want to be able to play music, you gotta play music that you enjoy. And the best way to actually teach yourself is listen to music that you like. Don't listen to these music that you don't. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't have to play classical music, but if that's something you really love, then go for it. It's just that I feel that a lot of people quit just primarily because they get bored of it. Well, I feel that music should be fun, so that's kind of why I based it on composing, because then you can create your own stuff, and hopefully it sounds good. And then we'll go to the Heartbreaker 2 chord progression. We covered that one. Okay. I'm just trying to figure this out because I've written scores in different letters, but I'm not trying to use the underlying ones that I need. So it looks like that's written in. Hold on, I guess I got to kind of test this one. I'm not quite sure. This is one of them. Oh, this looks like it's written in E major. 1, 2, 1. Yep, it's in E major, so we know that the underlying one. How do I transcribe this? So. Shoot, this is actually really hard, and I'm not quite sure how to attempt this because I know. But it was C, so let's go down to the 5th, which is down there. See, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to change the E scale to one that doesn't use black keys, because that's the most effective way to actually learn, is the ones that don't use black keys, because then you can kind of finicky with the ones on the top notes. So, oh, got it. I think. Whoop, that's G. It's not it. So how can I use this? Is it? I don't know why it's not. Oh, I think I got it. I think. Hold on, let me just double check. Oh yeah, I got it. So we got. It's in the it's in the C major scale. Once again, we could probably rename this major. So Heartbreaker chord major. So we start with 1, we go to 5, we go to 6, and then we go to 4. As you notice, they're kind of changed up here, but they still have that Heartbreaker sound to it. So this is why I changed it. So you know that the 1 is major, always major. This Heartbreaker 1, major, 6, major, 4th, major. Actually, the 6 is minor, sorry. Minor. For the Heartbreaker 2 melody, you know that for this one, if you want to make it sound minor, you got to... Actually, I think I made a mistake, is that for the Heartbreaker ones, you just have to make sure that there's only one major or one minor scale in it. For all these chord progressions, there's actually only one minor scale somewhere. The rest are major. So that's kind of how I've kind of learned about it, is that. So let's see, you know that, let's just copy this up here. I'll kind of reverse them here. So Heartbreaker 1, C, let's switch this around, ACE, put that to 6, which is actually right, oh, we can just slip this in here, flip this one in here, cut there, and then paste, which is right there, and then paste it. So if we follow this right here, to show you again, I can just show you as it goes C, E, G, that's the triad for the first progression, and B, G, D, that's the second for the chord progression, A, C, E for the third progression, and F, A, C for the fourth chord progression. So the third one, which is Heartbreaker 3, it might actually be similar to the one here, but I can just double check. For that one, I think I've used, it's called The Darkest Days. Let's kind of just see if I can actually remember it. It's not going to be written in the C major scale. It's going to be written in the E major. Alright, let's see. In my darkest days, you're the sun that shines through the rain, washing away the pain. I got you and you got me. This love will last for eternity. We may never have a lot of money, but our riches come from our love. Our love. Something like that. I was actually going to do, it was going to be part of my rap video, but I kind of eye strain. See, that's the thing. I have eye strain, and it kind of prevents me from doing it. What I need to get done. I can't excel as fast as I want to. But hopefully this can kind of give you guys an idea. Yes, I will get to songwriting. I will get to how to learn to songwrite, or how I taught myself to songwrite. I will get to learn how to rap, things like that. So if you guys want to progress more from game composing and film scores, and you rather just songwrite and you just rather compose, then that will be coming up in later videos. I just kind of want to get the basic stuff across on how to compose first. So the next one is actually, this was actually called Please Not Miss Me When I Was Gone. So it goes. Alright, I had to mess it up, sorry. This is total improv. But you know that the notes that you play up on the right hand is actually he's using some of the triads from the left. But for the fourth, it's kind of a little different. Instead of the A major or the A minor or A, let's see what that G sharp major. There's a G in there because it kind of gets that little dissonance in there, and that's kind of why I like that one. But let's see. I believe this is written in A, so we know that's the A. So that's the, it should be, let's see. Shoot, I gotta kind of figure out what it is. I just know that so it starts with, it actually starts, we can call this, we'll just actually put it in A minor because it just makes things a lot easier. So this chord progression is minor. This Heartbreaker 3 chord progression's in minor. So it goes to 1 minor, and then it goes to 6 major, or that's actually, yeah, 6 major, and then it goes to 7 major, and then it goes to 3 major. So you know that the underlying chord progression, we take the C or the A minor scale, it goes A, C, E minor, triad, and then F, A, C, triad, then G, B, D major triad, and then C, E, G major triad. So as you notice, you kind of heard that. So that covers a lot of the chord progressions. It's only a half-hour session, but I hope you guys accomplish a lot. I'll kind of review on what we have here. So let's go to the majestic. Let's see. The majestic chord progression is right here. This is the quick thing that you guys can learn. Is just let's see if I can make this smaller. Actually, I don't want to make it too small, then I can't read it. So if you guys can read this, hopefully. So A, C, or A. So the first one is, this is written in minor, which is A. So it goes, shoot, minor. I think I screwed up here. A, F. Oh no, I didn't. It's A minor. So A, F, C, G. That's the majestic chord progression. A, F, C, G. So A, C, E minor, F, A, C major, C, E, G major, and then G, B, D major. That's the majestic. And now Gothic one is A, F, G, E. So A, C, E, F, A, C, G, B, D. Those are all majors. E, G sharp. Remember, G sharp and B major. And I think I said something wrong. A, C, E, which is minor. And then the Heartbreaker one is, which is, for that one, it's C, G, or 1, 6, 4, 5, So C, E, E, this is major, C, E, G, A, C, E minor, F, A, C major, G, B, D major. Sweet. And then the third heartbreaker, or the second heartbreaker is 1, 5, 6, 4. So 1, 5, 1, 5, 6, 4. 1, 2, 3. C, E, G major. 5, G, B, D major. 6, A, C, E minor. And then F, A, C major. So that's the Heartbreaker 2 melody. Heartbreaker 3 chord progression is 1 minor, which is actually... oh, I gotta recover this, man, because I totally forgot about that, what I was gonna do. So this is actually 1 A, C, E, that's minor, remember. And then 6, it goes to F, A, C. And then 7, which is major, so that's G, B, D. 3 is C, E, G. So 1, A, C, E. 6, F, A, C. And then 7, G, B, D. And then 3, C, E, G. So typically I often go, if you notice that I always go down, then up for a lot of these. It's just a lot easier if you guys can kind of review that. Once again, 1 minor, 6 major down, 3 major up, 7 major down. So this Gothic is minor, and then 6 major down, 7 major down, 5 major up. So, or actually 5 major down, sorry. They all go down, they all progress down, 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 up, down. 1 minor. And then it's Heartbreaker 1, which is C, A, 6 minor down, major down, 5 major up. Then 1 major, 5 major, so it's 1, 5, so down, up, and then down. And then Heartbreaker 3 is 6 major, up, 1, down, and then up, and then up. So hopefully I'll actually play this really soft, or go through it soft. Just look down, just try to study these. I'll actually probably put these online somewhere. If you guys just need them, just email me at manhoprk@hotmail.com, or call me at 6651-491-8440. These are business inquiries, comments, questions, comments, and collaborations. The thing is, I have no fan base to kind of build off my music, so I have no mentors to actually help motivate me to do these type of things, because I don't really know anyone that has kind of geared it towards the rap session. And I personally got to rap because it's just a lot easier on my eyes, and I don't have to. I like words. I like to rhyme words. It's kind of the biggest thing I kind of picked up. So this is gonna be a 40-minute video. I hope that you guys accomplished a lot. I'll just play one quick piece when I get done. I don't know. I'll just kind of make it up as I go. I kind of like the Majestic theme, so maybe I can kind of... Oh, I know. The Majestic thing is also covered in this song that you probably heard before. You can... Alright, let's actually... I want to change it up here because I know the chord progression here. Let's see if I can... You can push me away, but I can... Okay, you can push me away, but oh shoot, I don't remember it. Let's see. Ooh, this is tough. I don't remember. You can push me away, but I can only say that our love is the one way. The street sign says I'm here to stay. No matter what they say, you're the ace of this amazing chase. Battle isn't done till it's won. Where I'm your number one, where I'm your number one. I'd rather apologize 100 times to make sure you're fine. Well, I'm not blind because you are one of a kind. I'll get you on cloud 9, girl, with me, and just sign this dotted line as I make this nursery rhyme. There you go, that's it.